So I'm gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to do the video out in the rain today. So this video, I need to explain some things the government's doing. Aggravating. But back to the rain. It's been raining for 24 hours now, 24 hours straight. And it's not gonna end until 7 o'clock tonight. I think it's like noon now, 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. I've waited as long as I could, hoping it would slow down, but it hasn't. I've talked to you before about why we do things the way we do, and trying to avoid people and regulations, try to stay off grid as much as possible. Of course, people are gonna say, oh, you're on YouTube, you're not off grid. So, I don't know. But one of the things that I've tried to talk about here is the need for your own food. I just learned today that there's only a 25-day supply of diesel fuel, primarily on the East Coast, New England. And so what they're saying is if something were to happen to our oil production or fuel production or whatever, that we could only last 25 more days and we'd be out. We're at critically low levels, and even the president acknowledged it just the other day. So if this happens, if we were to run out of diesel, obviously that means no more shipping of materials and food. If the lens gets spotty, I'll do my best to wipe the lens. The way this camera works, I have to put a waterproof covering, and this is a GoPro. And I got it on so it has like super bounce, so it eliminates all the bounce on the GoPro. But I have to do the audio through my phone, so my microphone's here. When I edit, I have to put the audio against my lips moving. Things you gotta do for a YouTube video. So we're in critically low supply. Now, what's the problem is food costs are already dramatically high. And if things continue to get out of hand, like low supplies of diesel fuel, we're going to be a third world country overnight. So I've been trying to convince folks that you got to start acting now. You're going to have to start doing things to take care of yourself. Stop relying on everybody else to take care of you. When I say everybody else, yeah, I'm talking about the government, I'm talking about food manufacturers, I'm talking about the electric, all of it, because it all could go down just like that. So earlier this year, the government announced that there was a bird flu. Now, there are a lot of people that don't believe in the bird flu. And the more I read about it, the more I'm scratching my head about it. What it is what they said was large birds, like geese, ducks, were dropping their droppings on chickens, around chicken farms. And the farmer would step in them dropping and carry it into his chicken coop, his chicken confinement. And then he'd spread it on to the rest of the chickens. Well, last spring, we bought some Brahmas. They're a large meat bird. We bought 7 of them. And when we went to pick them up, we went to the hatchery. And when you walked into the door, they had a little rug there. Before the rug, there was a bleach water compound that you had to step in. You couldn't avoid it. You had to step in it. There was no way to get around it. And then you walked further into another bin, and it was just water to rinse your feet off. And that was to prevent you from stepping and dropping somewhere and bringing it into the hatchery. So if the hatchery could do this, you would think that farmers who have millions of dollars maybe invested in their chickens would have thought to do this, but they didn't, obviously not, because all through the spring, millions of birds, chickens, had to be slaughtered. And it's very inhumane how they have to do that. I guess they just have to heat them up so hot that they die. It's like burning them to death. Well, then they started, like here in Missouri, going around to backyard chickens. And they were testing the birds and saying, oh yeah, your bird's got chicken flu. Well, there was no arguing the point. So if you had 50 chickens, which isn't unreasonable, we got, I think, 30, maybe close to 30, 28, something like that. So it wouldn't be much more if we decided well, next year we'll probably have over 50 because we'll incubate some more chickens and we'll butcher those in the fall. If you have 50, they come out and test your chickens. And if they decide that they got bird flu, I don't even know if they provide you proof. They'll order you to slaughter your chickens. So food prices went up, chicken prices went up. I just went to the store the other day. So we buy that 10-pound bag of chicken legs and thighs. It's frozen. And last spring it was 49 cents a pound. Well, over the summer, it went up to 79 cents a pound. So that's $7.90 per bag. Well, we just went to the store just recently and it went up to $9.90 per bag. So this isn't even inflation. I mean, that's incredible. That's more than double. 49 cents to 99 cents. Double would have been 88 cents. It's almost not worth buying that chicken anymore because we can it. We bring it home, we boil it up, and we start canning it in the pressure canner. So it's not going to take much to throw things off balance. Before, we're a third world country and there's no food in the grocery store. So, although a lot of people will say that what I'm doing is crazy, why would you want to just eat chicken eggs? Well, I want to be a professional at raising chickens. We only have an acre and a half here, so I have to figure out how to use my resources well. So we raise sunflower seeds. We can turn 50 pounds of sunflower seeds into 250 pounds by sprouting them, so they eat the sprouts. Give them a handful a day. And then the rest, they can just eat the grass around here. I think we're all going to have to start thinking about doing that. Even if you live in a municipality, a lot of municipalities let you raise chickens now. You can live off eggs. I know it's not the greatest idea in the world. Oh my gosh, why would I want to do that? But Carolyn and I are carnivores. That's all we eat is just meat and eggs. And we eat eggs 7 days a week. If there's nothing else to eat, I'm sure you'll be happy to have the eggs. So, kind of changing things over to the homestead a little bit. The EPA should be doing a better job at controlling all this weather that they keep talking about. We're destroying the climate. Well, all my life, that's all I've heard. So why aren't they fixing it? We sure do spend a lot of money on them to fix it. Last night we had a huge windstorm come through. And it blew off. This is the first time it's ever happened to us also. It blew off all our canopy. Just ripped it all off. So it's raining cats and dogs out here, middle of the night. Well, I say middle of the night, it was probably 8 o'clock. It wasn't that late, but it was dark. And the chickens, it scared the chickens, and they flew everywhere. So we're out here in the woods, and we're looking for the chickens, and we're trying to put this back together. Well, we got most of it put back together pretty well. This side we did all right. This side, I guess what happened was, when we put it all back together, there must have been a sagging part on the tarp because the weight of the water crushed it. It wasn't running off properly. So doing it out here with flashlights, I guess we didn't get it right. So we're gonna have to redo that when it dries up. But we had all the chickens out here and we're trying to gather them up and we're losing count because it's dark and they're running around and they're all upset. Couldn't keep count. So this morning I got up and it didn't get light out until about 8 o'clock, which is about an hour late. So about 8:30, I guess, it lightens up enough and I start to walk down here to see if I can figure out if there's any more chickens missing, or, you know, what we have in here. And 2 of them came running from that cedar tree over here. So I guess 2 of them hid in there all night. Well, they were upset. I opened the door on the chicken run here, hoping they would go back in. And after me chasing them around for about an hour, they decided not to. Well, I came down again a little later, and one of the Brahmas, ones that we don't want to lose, because we bought those, she was laying over there in the weeds. So she let me grab her. And then later, one of the ones we incubated over the springtime came running out of the woods. And Carolyn brought in some treats, and she ran in with the treats. The problem is, we're still missing one. It's one of the Brahma roosters. That's our meat bird. We have 2 roosters. So fortunately, the biggest rooster stayed in the coop all night last night. He never left, even after all that ruckus. He was in there the whole time. So it was a smaller rooster. And we've always noticed that he seemed a little bit puny, always a little small. I don't know why. He seemed like a happy bird, but it was always small. We worried about his health. Well, now he's missing. So we've walked around in the woods several times and I can't find him anywhere. We've looked out in the trees, thinking he might have flew up in the tree. You would think that if a predator got him, there'd be feathers everywhere. Anytime a predator has taken a chicken in my life, there's feathers everywhere. Whether it's a dog or a hawk or an eagle, they always destroy the animal on the ground first before they carry it off. So we don't see any feathers. So I'm not sure. Now earlier, strangely enough, there was a very sickly dog running up the road. Never seen him before. We've not had a dog problem in probably, well, over a year. Haven't had any dogs here. We've gotten all that straightened out with all the people that own dogs around here. They keep them locked up, so I don't know where this one came from. So I'm worried he might have gotten this rooster. It sure did make a mess of things. We're gonna fix this up. We won't use a tarp next time on this one. We'll put some fence posts up. We'll use this material, it's just a plastic material to kind of cover it, to keep the predators out of it. But as far as keeping the rain out of it, I'm not gonna worry about it. But I sure wish I could find him. Because this is a really bad time to lose him, right? As diesel prices are starting to skyrocket and food prices are starting to skyrocket. But like I said earlier, we probably would have butchered him in next spring anyways, because he just wasn't that big. And we want to be able to have big chickens hatch next spring, so we can have a good supply of chicken meat. Last year, we didn't get a lot because, first of all, we kept all the hens because we wanted to get more eggs. So we only got about 20 jars, maybe 30 jars of chicken meat from the last incubation cycle. These Brahmas should probably give us 40 to 50 jars out of the same amount of eggs, because the roosters are about 10 pounds each. So, well, we're gonna keep an eye on him for a couple days. Maybe he'll come out. So if you'll click this up next box, it should take you to a video where I'm talking about the USDA banning candy lids. So if I can inspire you to take a walk in the rain, so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.